All right, so the best performing stocks in Q1, I had to let us know that. Our best performing stocks in Q1 is Supermicro, up 255% in 3 months. This is absurd. 255%, that's crazy. Constellation Energy, 58%. Nvidia, 82%. Deckers, 40%. Micron, that's a chip company. They had like a end of the quarter rally. It wasn't up that much, but the last week, 2 weeks to the quarter, they had something serious. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something. General Electric. Let me say something about this company right quick, because I'm going to talk about this tonight too. I'm going to be real with you. This company is on my list. Now, let me tell you why. I got to explain why, Jose. Today, I put out my 10 stock checklist in the Patreon for my Masters of the Triple Beam. New CEO came in, Larry Culp. New CEO came in, been in there for a couple years, right? General Electric was once one of the largest companies in America. It was a staple of America. It was a staple as Disney, right? But what happens is a company can get so big, they start doing stuff they don't have no business doing, right? And then they start taking on debt. They start holding on to brands. They start just having a bunch of assets that's not good for the brand, and it starts to cannibalize the business, and it starts to eat away at the brand name. It starts to eat away at the financials, and it just starts eating away at the brand. Well, when a new CEO came in, they had $175 billion worth of debt. In his few years of being there, he has eaten away $100 billion worth of debt. In a couple years, a few years, he's done it by doing a few things different. One, he's gotten rid of businesses that do not serve this company. He got away from a bunch of businesses that's just not good. He got rid of them. Secondly, what he did, we're going to talk about it today, he split the company into 3 places. You got General Electric, you got General Electric Health, and then they dropped the other businesses today. So it's a 3-way split he did. And also, he has increased that balance sheet. He's grown that free cash flow, and he is consistently chopping that debt down. Larry Culp is the name of the CEO, right? I just want y'all to look at the brand. I don't want y'all to go buy it. I just want you to look at it. Also, he is heavy on the aerospace part of the business, which is the main part of the business that he loves. They're losing money right now on the renewable energy part, but they got a plan to become profitable by the end of 2025, which is what I like to hear, right? But the medical part of the business is doing really good as well. We're going to tap into it a little more tonight as I get into it. But the aerospace and the electric part of the business is a killer. And it has shown. Last year, the stock did really good. This year, first quarter, stock is up 37%. I'm going to be real with you. The only reason I didn't do an option play on this game, on this sucker earlier, was because I wanted to see them finish this 3-way stock split, because this company has a way of, I've been watching it since he came in. Every time a company put a new CEO in, I'll be like, damn, let me see how this company doing. Let me see. Larry Culp is the CEO. He is doing an amazing job with it. This is going to be one of the best turnaround stories you've ever seen in a company. I can promise this CEO, he's the real deal, yo. And the only reason is because I wanted to stick to seeing, I wanted to see them, I ain't want to just do it off emotion. I wanted to see them make the turnaround. And if you in Master of the Triple Beam, I had it today on our 10 stock checklist. I got General Electric on it. I like what this company is doing. I like what the CEO is doing. I like how he's turning the brand name around. And what I love even more about it is, it don't get talked about on Wall Street. The only reason they talked about him today was because of the three-way split he did. General Electric Health was doing pretty good. The company right here is doing good. And I want to see how the new brand is doing good. I'm telling you, this is going to be one. Now, it's not going to meet the metrics right now because the company is separating. They did the breakup and the CEO is recovering. But if you base the company on what has happened from, because he's eating the bulk of what happened before him. So when you come on, you are the predecessor, right? You the predecessor, right? When you come on a company, you the predecessor, right, LaShana? Like when you come on, so what is it called when the people behind you, what do you call them? So if you're the predecessor, what are the people behind you? The people you coming in for, what would you call them? Like he's being judged based on the people before him, but what do I say, what are they called? Just the people before them? That's it? He just judged on the people before him.
Corporate ancestors.
Successors.
Hey, TV show.
Shout out to the young boy. So he is being judged on his successors, right? But he's the successor. The predecessors. There we go. He's the successor to the predecessor. There we go. Thank you. Thank you for that, right? That's why you got to have a team. I ain't the smartest one in. I told y'all I got a GED. Right? But he is the successor, and he's being judged by his predecessors. But if you judge it based on when he took the helm, this company is amazing. And I promise you, it's going to be a $200 stock within the next year. Within the next year. Because of how diverse they are. Now, yes, the opposite. Yep, you got me. Yep, the successor and the predecessor, 100%. I appreciate y'all. Yep, so we'll talk about that. But Tutor, all right, then we got Facebook up 37%. Y'all know I rock with Mark Zuckerberg. He the real deal. Marathon Petroleum, sweet. Disney's up 35%. I want to talk about that for a second, too. And, of course, Eli Lilly. We all know that Disney has been in what's called a proxy fight, right? And we talked about that a while back with Nelson Peltzer. That's his name, Nelson Peltzer. So he is an activist investor. We talked about this before. An activist investor is someone who sees a company and says, yo, I want to come in and turn that company around. I'm going to put pressure on the board. I'm going to put pressure on the brand. And I'm going to turn this company around, but I'm going to make a whole lot of money in the process. And so I always tell people to go look at Billions when Axelrod had the Twinkie company. If you go find those couple episodes, you'll see he went in, he demanded the board seat, he knew everything about the company, he showed them how they was losing money, he showed them how they was doing bad, he wound up kicking the owner's son off the board, got the company, turned the company around. That's activist investing. So Nelson feels like Disney is being operated horribly, which I personally think it has been too. But it's not because of Bob Iger, it's because they were under another administration. If you look under the other administration, they was ran horribly, right? The stock performed horribly. He just didn't do well. So that succession plan failed. And because the succession plan failed, the stock showed it. Which is why I was saying for the longest, I don't like Disney stock because if you look at it over the last 5 years, it's done horribly. Because when Bob Iger stepped away, the person he put in place did not do a great job at it at all. Right? So Bob Iger came back, and since he's come back in, he's done some things. He's cut a lot of things. The company has actually done some things pretty good, which is why the stock has turned around. They reinstated the dividend. They cut off some things. They add new things. But what happens is Nelson is saying, you're doing that because I've put pressure on you. He wrote a long ass plan on things they need to do. And so he's trying to come in and take a board seat. Now the board has members, but also there's big shareholders like, all the big companies, State Street, all that, right? So here's what Bill Ackman said. And I said all that because I want y'all to do this. And I personally feel like Ms. Kim, that's somebody else I love, I feel like Nelson ain't wrong. I feel like they did the right adjustments because they don't want him on the board. So they did the things necessary. They don't want him on the board, but he has the right. That's when your money big, too. When your money big, you can say, yo, I got the money. This is what I want to do with the board. And once you come on the board, you can go put other people on the board. You can change the company because some people, that's what I love about this, Brent, like the stock market. You are watching war in real time. You're watching real business happen here. So here's what Bill Ackman said. One active investor to another. I want y'all to listen to this. There have been a few recent articles in the press about Disney winning its proxy contest versus Nelson Peltz, based on early election returns that have been leaked to the media. We don't have an investment in Disney, talking about himself, but I thought it was useful to point out the inappropriateness of these leaks to the press. Only the company and its advisors have access to how the shareholders have voted before the day of the annual meeting. My understanding is that it is illegal to release the outcome of the vote prior to it being finalized, as it has the effect to manipulating the outcome. Here, the company and or its advisors have leaked that Disney is winning the contest. It is really inappropriate that they have done so. And how does one know that Disney and or its advisors, they are the source of the leak? Well, if Peltz were winning, there would be no leaks to the press. The reason why the progress of an election for the directors must be kept confidential until the results are final is that leaking the results can affect the ultimate outcome. Institutional investors worry about offending management by voting with the activists. They are concerned that if management learns that they have voted against the incumbent directors, they may lose access to management going forward. In other words, Bob Iger is less likely to come visit or take a call from his shareholder if the shareholder voted with the dissident. This is clearly a close election. Institutions don't want to risk voting against the incumbent board if it is clear that the activists will lose. They want to be on the winning side of an election. Here, the company and or its advisors have leaked their early results in order to tip more institutions and other shareholders to vote for the incumbent board, unfairly tipping the scale in the incumbent board's favor. In other words, an institution may think if Peltz is going to lose, it is not taking the risk of offending management by voting against him, by voting with him. This is unfortunate, not an uncommon practice. Years ago, in my proxy contest with ADP, the company and or its advisors did the same thing. The SEC Gov should do a thorough investigation of this proxy contest and appropriately punish whoever is responsible for the miscarriage of shareholder governance and justice. Companies of the caliber of Disney and or its advisors should not behave in this way. Lastly, but importantly, I think highly of Nelson Peltz. I'm sure he would be a great additive as a member of Disney board. Ask yourself, why is the company fighting so hard to keep him off? The fact that the company leaked the early returns to the media is further evidence that an activist of Nelson's caliber deserves to be on the board for all the shareholders' benefit. Based off the knowledge of Nelson's capabilities and the dirty tricks implemented by the company and his advisors, I strongly recommend the shareholders vote for Nelson Peltz on the Disney board. Institutions who have already voted still have time to change their vote. It is time that we make an example of Disney here so that this bad practice does not continue to poison shareholder democracy. I love it. It don't get no better than that. It don't get no better than that. If that ain't war, I don't know what is. That's what you call, I'm backing my nigga. I'm rocking with my dog. Hey, you gotta love this game. And the reason why I love this game, because it's not fought with fists. And it's actually not fought with guns. It's fought with the pen, the paper, the vote, and money.